Right, so the last quarterfinal of the Super Rugby Pacific competition is about to take place between the Brumbies and the Hurricanes. Going to be an entertaining game, and the Brumbies at home for this contest adds that little bit of an extra layer to it. We have got myself, we have got Tim from Rugbyitch. So the last game of the weekend, how do you see it going? Do you think the Brumbies going to continue their winning ways at home?
Yeah, look, I mean, the Brumbies have been pretty good, actually, in terms of their home form, I'd say, throughout this whole season. I think they've only lost one game at home. I think that was to the Chiefs, literally, like, what was it, last week or something like that. So it's one of those where, yeah, I think other than that, yeah, I think they've been pretty good. I mean, it's the Brumbies. I mean, it's kind of what we expect in terms of what they do, because their home form is like, it's kind of similar to what we see with Fiji Dura. Like, their home form is brilliant in terms of what they do, but away, that's kind of where it's a bit more difficult for them. But, yeah, because look, there's fixtures at home. I think they are seen as the favorites for this game. I think that's for sure. But yeah, they have a solid team. They can definitely do the job, I think.
And both sides getting those few injuries in just before the playoffs. I know that the Hurricanes, they don't quite have maybe a fella on the wing that they wanted. Although Daniel Sinkinson, to be fair to him, he played pretty well in that game last week and has got a 100% winning rate up against the Crusaders now for his career. So that is something not many players can say. Exactly right. Looking through at these two sides, key players. That's what we're going to transition to here. For the Brumbies, we'll start with them seeing as they are at home. Who do you think is one to watch out for in this Brumbies side?
Well, they have a few players who can definitely stand out, I think, within this game. But if I'm going to talk about the one guy who's probably had the best season for the Brumbies, I'd definitely say it's Tom Wright. I think he's the guy who's kind of stood out for them. I mean, again, he's had the, kind of shift from that 14-11 spot, that he played in the past towards the 15 role, since Tom Banks left, and he's been outstanding really within that role. I mean, he's one of the highest actually in terms of like a meters run throughout the whole Super Rugby season, and yeah, he knows how to like find space in pockets of the defense. And with the Hurricanes, they're not really, in my opinion, they're not really the best team in terms of like the defensive point of view. I mean, they have a few players who kind of stand out in that sense, but if I'm not mistaken, I mean, we'll get into a lot of the Hurricanes players later on, but I don't think Karifi's starting for this game, and he's normally someone you rely on more from a defensive point of view. So in my mind, I think Tom Wright has more of an opportunity in this game to kind of like kind of stand out and kind of find spaces and kind of find the subtle offload, this at least. So yeah, I think he's the guy I'd look out for.
I'm looking at someone in this 4-pack for the Brumbies myself. Tom Wright has been very good in that back line, but maybe with this Hurricanes 4-pack, I think this game's going to be very important for the Brumbies to play a physical one in the front.
It could be decided by that, yeah.
I mean, someone I've been waiting to play well against the New Zealand side this whole season, Rob Valentini. I've been waiting.
Yeah,
it's been coming at some stage soon, I've thought, and it just hasn't really happened, unfortunately. Him, and some would say the same about Pete Samu, that when they play those Kiwi sides, they don't seem to quite find that level that they do up against the Aussie opposition. So I think Rob Valentini here, battle with Savia, could be quite an entertaining one. If those two go head-to-head, it's a battle with the league drives. Just pushing each other all over the park.
Yeah.
But, yeah, hopefully he ends up going not too badly in this game up against the Canes. Another player to watch out for, I think, is Lachlan Lonergan, mainly because the Brumbies off that rolling maul, extremely strong. I believe the Brumbies actually a side that's sitting with the most tries scored when a lineout's involved. Bit of an interesting stat there as well. So, yeah, I think the Brumbies rolling maul could be crucial here up against the Canes. Now for the Hurricanes, few changes in that starting lineup overall, but some possibly welcomed. I know that you mentioned about Duplessis Karifi not being at number 7, but now they've got Savia 7. How do you feel about that change?
I mean, it makes sense because I mean, you have to understand that within the last game, I mean, IOC was like incredible against the Crusaders at the number 8 spot. So I think it makes sense why they're kind of shifting Sevilla towards the 7, because I think that's where he's known for. Actually, he's the number 7 spot and where he's played best really for the Hurricanes, as well as the All Blacks in the past. But I think it also complements kind of the other players involved, because Flanders obviously playing at the 6. He can act as more as the enforcer, the set at least. And you have Iosa, who was brilliant actually against the Crusaders in the previous game. So I think it does. There's a reason behind that shift, I think. And when you look at the other players, in that Hurricane side, again, they are also missing, Julian Sevilla, as well as Riasi. So they are missing a bit of kind of like, I guess, just powerhouses really in terms of that kind of backing department. But there's still a bit of depth there. I mean, I think the player I'm actually looking forward to the most in terms of my one-to-watch player, I'd say for the Hurricanes, is actually Nahalo. Because I think he's the player who's really stood out for me, I think, this season. And probably the player I actually think has had the most underrated season out of all of the New Zealand players, I think. Because you could say it from an Australian standpoint, you can maybe say it's Zach Kilbridge, actually, because he's had a great season actually for the Western Force. So he's actually the player I'd say is the most underrated season. But if I'm saying the most underrated season from a New Zealand perspective, I actually do think it's Nahalo, because I mean, he scored I think 9 tries, and people forget that he's actually scored 9 tries. It's pretty impressive, actually, because you normally assume that Riasi or maybe Julian Sevilla would be ahead of it, but no, it's Nahalo. So he's having a good season. So he's definitely someone I keep my eye out for, because he's like his older brother, like Osaki. He just knows how to just power through people, just batter and round, boom, fa, and just it's good to watch. It's good to watch.
Boomfer indeed.
Oh,
for my player, I mean, maybe not as much boomfering, I'd have to say, but still a lot of sniping around the side of a breakdown. That is Cam Roigard.
Yeah.
The man's been on fire throughout the season. I've mentioned it. He's probably one of my AB's halfbacks, to be honest. Really? I think he snuck a little bit ahead. To be honest, don't shoot the messenger, Tim. But I actually
you better not say it. You better not say it.
I put him ahead of Finley Christie.
Oh, you just said it. You just said it, guys. Guys, get him in the comments right now. That is the worst take he said in a long time. Don't let him. Guys, come on. If you're a Blues fan, don't let him get away with that. Don't let him get away with that.
But if you're a Canes fan, agree.
I'm screwed.
Yeah. And with it being a Hurricanes video, gosh, my chance is probably not too bad overall. But yeah, I think he's just been phenomenal, hasn't he? Scoring tries for fun.
He's been great.
Even in the games that it seems like the Hurricanes have had their backs to the wall, he's still created those opportunities. And I think it's just the fact that he's able to score so many tries. A team that normally, I mean, you see someone like a Perenara or someone like that, he was normally the distributor. He was setting up the tries for his teammates, whereas Roigard just, if he sees a gap, he goes for it. And seems to work quite nicely indeed. Good. So less boom firing, but more tries. Cam Roigard. I have to say, around the side, Little Snipes. Not a bad. Little Snipes is a kind of cool nickname. That could be my rapping name.
Little Snipes. Woo!
Little Snipes. I can't do that thing with the fingers, how they click them. I just move my hand real fast. You know? But yeah, those are the key players sorted out. Glad we agree.
Yeah.
But now we are up to the prediction stage. Are we going to agree on this? The big question. I see you wearing the Brumbies kit. You're backing them for this game? Or you saying
I am.
Okay.
I am. I think the Brumbies, it's one of those things that where they've actually beaten the Hurricanes at home in a quarter. I mean, I think we had this last year, if I'm not mistaken. It's the exact same thing. They were in home. The Brumbies defeated the Hurricanes. So I'm just going by what I've seen in the past, and I don't think anything's changed because both sides are on the same kind of level as what I saw from last season. So yeah, I'm going to say the Brumbies are going to win here. I think it'll be a close game, of course. This is definitely not going to be a one-way thing. I can't see it that way because this is probably the most – this and probably the Crusaders Fiji Dura could be like probably two, in my opinion, are the two closest games, I think, for what we might see. But yeah, I think the Brumbies will get a win, and I think they'll win this game. It could be low scoring, though. That's the thing. It's the Hurricanes. They'll try to stop them. And then normally it's a low-scoring game, actually, between these two sides. So I'm actually going to say it'll be like 19 points to 15. I'll say 19 points to 15. That's my final prediction for the game.
Well, I just looked up some stats, Tim, while you were telling us your prediction. Yeah. And I was looking at last year's game. And the Hurricanes, they didn't have Little Snipes in their side. Instead, it was Perenara and Jamie Booth. So I wonder whether or not Wiki Fresh. So I wonder.
I'm sorry. I just it's like a wicka. Anyway, just carry on.
So I wonder whether or not having him in the side, having your key player, Kini Naholo, in this Hurricanes side as well.
They could do it, yeah.
Might help them over the line. And I am going to say that it does. help them get the victory. Not many sides have been able to do it in Canberra. We've seen that throughout the season. Only the Chiefs most recently, they did get themselves the victory. Other than that, though, it's been a pretty good record for the Brumbies. But the quarterfinals, every time these two sides play, it seems to be one side ends up in the 20s, the other side just ends up in the 30s.
Yeah.
I feel like this game's probably not going to be too much
it's
different.
So
I'm going to say
it just has that feel. I mean, we could be wrong. It could be like a 43, like 39 game. It'd be like unbelievable. But no, I'm going off previous results here, so I think it's safe to say that it may be low scoring.
Okay, I'm going to go 32 points to 29 in
favor
of the Canes.
Oh, I like it. I like it. If that happens, then more the merrier, of course.
Exactly right. And as long as both sides come out and play some decent rugby to close out the quarterfinals, I feel like a lot of people will be happy. There is a chance that we could see 4 Kiwi sides going through to the semi-finals.
Yes.
For the sake of the competition, I feel like there has to be one side from somewhere else making their way in. And whether that's going to be... I was going to say the Fiji. I was going to whisper the Fiji draw.
Please.
Going to say about the or the Reds, or the Brumbies, or the Waratahs.
Not the Waratahs.
At the expense of the Blues, you know, it will hurt a bit. But think of the competition, Tim.
Hey, at the end of the day, whoever wins that fixture, it will be a blue team that goes through. So,
yeah. Do you have a Waratahs kit?
Unfortunately, I don't. It's not in my my stock, unfortunately.
I'll get one just in case.
Ooh, okay. We'll see.
No, we both predicted the Blues to win, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that game will be tonight at the time that this comes out. Or it may have already happened.
It may have happened, yeah.
Congratulations to the winner.
Yeah, yes, I think.
Nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this preview, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Check out Rugbyitch as well and let us know your score predictions down in the comments. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We will see you all for the next one. Hope you're doing well, mate. I see you've got that Brumbies kit. Is it your favourite Aussie kit out of curiosity, or you got another one a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, look.
That's a terrible question, Tim. I'm going to ask you a different one.